Hey everybody, this is Fancy. Welcome to the Game Ant Legion. We're over here in Sin and we are going to be talking about predator nests. Now, as you're starting out, you may hear things like only send one troop or only send one ant. You might hear no movers, and you might hear don't send anything lower than a T7 or a T8. So we're going to talk about what all that means. If you get booted from a predator rally run that your alliance members are running and you want to join it, and they might boot you if you have any of those things in there. Don't get offended by that. I know it was really hard for me to understand starting out. I didn't get it. So I want you to get it because that's important. It's important for you to grow. It's important for you to know that it's nothing personal. It's just those things will affect the run. Now, I can run a 43 with a queen 34 I have. I can only run it if I have other strong players running with me. I need their help. However, a 42 I can run pretty comfortably with myself and my alt, which is my other nest. So when I run a 43, it's important that I have at least 2 or 3 other stronger players with me. So if somebody gets in it that has lower levels of ants in it, it's going to bring down your percentage rate. It's going to cause more kills because you're not as strong against one of these stronger nests. So we need at least 50% to conquer this nest. And if I have just myself and 4 other people get in that are sending movers and they're sending anything lower than a tier 7, I'm not going to make this run, and it's a waste of time for everybody, and it's going to stop a run that could have went. So you don't want to be the one who does that. And you might get just kicked out if you do it because they don't have time. Everybody's got things going on, and they're not always going to be on at the same time, especially if you only have a few higher players. So that's why it's very important to know not to do that. It's just courtesy for one, and it's also going to help you. Now, when you run your own rallies, you can do that as well. And you're going to know your number, how high you can go. There's several things that will affect that, and we're going to talk about that in another video, and that's going to be your rally scale. And you're going to want to know the difference between your army scale and your rally scale. So we're going to talk about that in the next video. But in this one, I want to talk about tiers or T's. I'm going to explain what those are. I'm going to kind of go over why you should not send movers and how to send in just one troop. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go down to the bottom inside the nest, and we're going to go over to our training center here. When we say T7s, T8s, T9s, whatever, these are going to be in your habitat, your soldier habitat. This is where we train our soldiers. Now, if you look up in this exclamation point up here in the right hand corner, anytime you see a screen with an exclamation point, it means that there's more information there. So let's click on it and see what that information is. Now what this is telling us now is this building. You see this is the Hay Soldier Habitat. This building needs to be at a certain level in order to open the higher tiers or T's. Tier is T-I-E-R. It's like the level. So a T6 level needs to be a 16 level of your habitat, of your building. Your building is your habitat. So a level 16 building in order to get that T6. Now, in order to run the bigger ones, which I mean is like, anywhere from it really depends on who's running the rally, how strong they are. But it's just good habit. If you don't have T7s yet, don't send anything below that to any rally that's like a 38 or above, I would say, as a general rule. So the ones that are a little lower might need you to run lower ones. However, still don't send movers. Never send a mover. But let's finish this and then we'll get into that. So these numbers, these buildings can only be as high as your queen. So basically you would need a queen 16 and get this any one of the buildings, whatever your troop type is. And troop type we'll talk about real soon in another video as well. I do have other videos on troop types, rally size, rally capacity, and army capacity. I have videos on them already if you want to look them up on YouTube. And if not, they'll be coming in this training session. And we will get to that so you can understand when I say things what they mean, and all that's going to affect these rallies. But in simple terms, when you're going to join a rally of somebody else and it's a higher one, the higher the better the reward, so you want to, don't be afraid to join them. However, you just want to send one troop in that situation. So anyway, this is kind of a guide for you of when you will get to the level to be able to send in full runs. Now you also want to train your soldiers to be able to fill those runs as well. And again, that's going to come with your army scale. Not your rally scale, but your army scale. And we will get into that later also. So anyway, just check here to tell you about when you're going to get to that level. And if you're not there, if you're only a queen, say 16, you're still only going to have 6s. If you're a 19, you might have 7s. Just don't send anything lower than those 7s. If you don't have enough to fill a full run, still only send one troop. It doesn't matter if you send in 1 billion troops or one troop, you're still going to get the exact same rewards as everybody else. Whether you run a rally or join a rally, it's still the same. You're still going to get the same rewards. So just keep that in mind. Don't have to run your own rallies. The only reason to do it, if there's somebody running a higher one, get in it. If you want to run your own rally, for one, you want to make sure you have enough rally scale to be able to run it. And again, we'll get into that in another time. But the thing is, you don't have to run your own rally. Get in these rallies, just send one troop if you don't have the proper number of tiers. Okay? All right, so let's go get into that now. I'm going to come back out of here, and I'm going to actually run a 42 because that one I am comfortable in running no matter who joins it personally. I can run this one with my other, so let's get this going, and then I'm going to jump in my other nest and show you how to send just one troop. All right, so here we go. Get that going. Hopefully somebody joins besides myself. All right, so here we go. I'm going to jump on over to Fancier here. I would show you with one of my farms, but they are over. We're just exciting. We started our own farm next door here. So all of our farms went over there. So I don't have anything smaller than her to show you this with. But what I'm going to do is join this rally. So we're going to click over here where that rally is. We're going to click on it. Peach already joined. Now you see she's sending all T9 Malay. That's perfect. So we got some higher tiers there. Now I'm going to join with Fancier here. Now see, normally I would just send Fancier's run. She's large enough. If you look here, she's got T9 range. Range is the backward arrow. Malay is the shield. And, oops, haste will be that boot. It looks like it's got fire coming off the back of that boot. That's because it's the fastest. That's the best way to remember. Haste is your fastest, your boot. So for this purpose, even though I am a T9, just pretend like these were all over the place, like yours might look like this. That's a mover. The half arrows, like one going one way and one going in the other, those you do not want at all. I'm just doing this for purposes of what yours might look like, okay? So whatever, it might look like something like this. So whatever it looks like, when you come in here, if you know that this is all you got, it's as high as it goes is a 6. Something like that. Or even if it has a few 7s in it, say, or a few 8s. What you want to do is hit this garbage can. And by 8, I mean just a few of them. It doesn't have as many as that. Let's just pretend like they're not there. Let's go 6 down, or 7s even, if you don't have a lot of them. What you want to do is hit this garbage can, bring everything back down, and then you're just going to want to send 1. I always send a haste because they're the fastest. So you would hit 1, just like that. Bring everything down to 0. And how you know they're all down to 0 is down here. See this on the side, it says 330,200 on that right side of that slash. That is my army scale. That's army, not rally. That's army scale. So that's how many army troops I can fit into this rally. So whatever your size is there, you want to make sure that on the left hand side is 0 if you do not have the proper tier level. Okay, now I'm just going to send 1. Now you see I hit 1, and now it's just 1. That's 1 troop. That's what you want to send in to a larger rally, and then you just hit OK, and that'll make it go. I'm going to take my back off because I am sending in all mine. And this nest is a range nest, so I'm sending only range. That's how you choose your troop type. Once you have a troop type set, you want to make sure that you have most of your ants are trained in that troop type and have enough to cover your army scale, which is that down there. See, and I have 549,610, and I need at least that many to cover my rally, our army scale. Okay, so now we hit OK, and we would go dispatch. And then you say yes. It just means once you're in there, it is only whoever started the rally. It is only them who can release you from it. Now you see Myron's here. Myron sent all T9 melee, and Fancier sent all T9 range. So we have a really good, strong run there. T9 melee, and we have T11 haste. So this is a strong run. Now I could have maybe did possibly a 43 with this one. And we will know this by the percentage that we get. And this is how we know if we're ready to move up to another level with who is running with you. All right, let's let that one go, and then I will show you the percentage and how we can tell. But I am going to have to switch over to the other one to be able to show you that record here, because I also want to show you something else in here as well. Okay, let's see if we're back yet. All right, we just got back, so let's check our mail, and then this is how you would take a look at it. You look at Predator Nest. Look at the one we just ran. Now we got 70%. That is a strong run. And I had room for 2 more players to join. Here you're allowed 6 when you have a strong enough rally scale to do it. So if this was at 75%, that's a good indication that you can move up another nest level. I would have been able to do a 43 had this been about 5% more. This is the percentage that can be manipulated or affected if you have somebody join with a smaller troop type. Now, if this would have been somebody that just had, say, ones up to even ones to sixes on this, and they were like 500 ones troops and 600 twos, etc. This would probably get dropped down to 55% or 60, in the 60s. It would be a lot less than what it is. And that is the whole reason that we ask you to only send one. If you send one, it'll have no kills and no hits, but you're still going to get the same rewards as everybody else, which would be all of these fantastic rewards. And that's what you want. So just send in one troop, you're good to go. Send in a haste if you can. You don't have to. Whatever you do, just don't send any movers. And we're going to talk about that really quick here. That's the other thing that you'll hear. And if you are sending, let me go ahead and run another here, and I'll show you that. But if you are sending anything else, like you have T7s, there we go, and when it pops up, it's got everybody on the screen, like we showed with all the graph line or the lines going over. You want to adjust that to not have any movers in there if you don't really have a troop type yet. And let me show you, it's just easier to say this as I'm showing. All right, so we'll go hit that graph button, and that time I just slid it down because there was only one. But let's say that, oops, I don't want to do any of those. Let's say that this is all that you have. 6 is down, and you have some like this. All right, let's say you have something like that. All right, and those are what you're going to send. That's what pops up on your screen. What you want to do is make sure this one with those arrows that go one way and the other way, make sure those are not on there. You just slide them down, make sure there's zeros if you're sending in, let's say these were 7s and 8s, and they still popped up. Then you want to make sure that slid all the way down, whatever you're sending. Even if it's a smaller nest, it does not matter if these are 5 movers, if they're 8 movers, if they're 20 or 40 movers. Here, T5s, T20s, don't send them. They're very slow, and if you send them into your battles, they're not only going to hold you down, they're very weak. If you can imagine, like, these are like the guys in the back. They're like big buffoons. They're very uncoordinated, and you're all pumped up. You're going into battle. You've been working out, you and your buddies, and you're ready to go slay these guys. And you're running into battle, and you got these friends in the back joking around, kicking rocks. They're shooting the bow, and they're big and they're bulky, but they're real uncoordinated, and then they keep tripping, and meanwhile you got the enemy just coming at you, and you're trying to pull them ahead to help you, and they're not really much of a help. That's what movers are. They're going to be a hindrance to a rally. So don't put them into any rally. They will always be an issue. It doesn't matter if you're running a level 1 nest or if you're running a level 100 nest. You do not want to put movers in there. Doesn't matter, like I said, if they're strong movers. There's no such thing as a strong mover as far as taking them into battle. Whereas these T11 like haste or any of these other ones are going to be strong. Those T11 movers, if you have them, are not going to be as strong. They're still going to be in the back. So the best thing for them, if you really like those friends, is to put them and leave them where they're comfortable and where they do the most good, and that is inside of your nest. If you leave them back there, they can be protecting your nest. They're good for that. They can sit on the couch, shoulder to shoulder, big bulky shoulders. They're going to be blocking anybody that comes in to attack your nest. That's where they belong. They're really slow. I don't even use many people If you ask them, they do not even use them for collecting resources because they're too slow getting there, they're too slow getting back. If you send a haste instead of a mover to collect resources, the haste will get there in about half the time as a mover will. I do send my movers to collect like Alliance Depot resources, the ones that are right there in your alliance, because I'm not in a big hurry for them. And they do hold more. I can give them that. So if you're not in a hurry for them to get somewhere, they're good for collecting. However, they are really good for protecting your nest. You never really need anything higher than a T1 mover. Just train a lot of them. If you have like 8 million movers, they can be as strong as less of a T11 even, maybe, I've heard. Like a T11 of any other troop type, but you need a lot of T1 movers to have them as strong. That's why they're good for protecting your nest. If you can make a lot of them and leave them at home, that's the best place for your movers. So don't put them into rallies. They are not soldiers. They are movers, they're protectors, they're there to sit at home. So just remember that, and that'll keep you out of trouble. So that's about it. I hope that rally didn't go yet. It already went, but anyway, that is about the gist of it. I think that should explain everything that might be going on when you hear those kinds of things. Now watch for the next video, because we're going to talk about running your own rally and what you need to prepare for that to be successful. And I want to thank you so much for being a part of Synergy. We look forward to having you here and working together with you and helping you out along the way. So if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. And if you're anybody else watching this that is not a part of Synergy and you want to become a member of our alliance, by all means, come on over. Send us an application, which is all just applying. There's no real application. And V or 007, our fearless recruiter, will be happy to work with you and let you in and give you all the lowdown on our Discord and all the stuff you might need to know. And we're here to help. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.